In Monopoly, rules are simple. Own as much properties as possible, play smart, don't end up in jail, and of course, don't cheat. What if I told you that today, these rules apply to real life, as we dive into a one-man's army story with one question in mind? How did he win the game? A, he cheated. B, he was lucky. C, he's a genius. D, it was written. Let's play this game and find out together.
Stomping around in some Burberry boots, sliding a pterodactyl inside a red tie, sliding some red sandals, blue diamonds melting a red candle.
Our story starts in crowded Chicago, Illinois, in a suburb that's located an hour away from central Chicago, called Joliet, where Corey D. Jones was born and raised. Joliet was no sweet spot. In that period in Illinois, the murders were spread out like cancer all the way through the suburbs. Violence and drugs were part of the lifestyle, and a huge part of Corey's lifestyle too. CJ had a rough and turbulent upbringing, if I can say the least. He went to jail for the first time when he was 14 years old, 2 weeks for stolen bikes. From there on, it just got worse and worse. He went to jail multiple times on weapons charges and caught his first shooting case at 16 years old. What needs to be understood though is that Corey was born into the street life. He came from a gang-related family on his mother's side. And the worst was, that's what moved him. The thrill of waking up, going on the block to gangbang. He didn't know any better. His dad's side was different, more boring. While his dad was at work all day, he and his gang ran the streets basically. Unlike most cases, CJ grew up in a Mexican neighborhood, and that taught him how to handle business differently. His gang was black, but with a lot of Latinos in it, which brought him a different perspective. His grandmother's house was like a GQ, the Joneses' house. That's where all the gangs came and hung out at. Their family was pretty renowned in the neighborhood. People used to shoot at his grandmother's house all the time. He's seen a lot, lived a lot. And when you know how the bottom feels like, the only way is up from there.
The game Monopoly is back at McDonald's.
And oh golly, this is the year to play.
People all over will win instantly from over $50 million worth of cash and prizes.
More than ever before.
Win shopping sprees, vacations, a Coca-Cola.
Ooh, tasty.
Or maybe one of 500 all-new Oldsmobile Cutlass Supremes.
Wow.
So do not pass go. Go directly to McDonald's.
Play Monopoly.
CJ always had a good heart, but he let the adrenaline rush of making people fear him take control over him. He was sort of possessed. Eventually, through anger issues management and federal complications, Corey still managed to get his first and last 9-to-5 job at around 15 to 16 years old. He worked at McDonald's, but for a very short period. Why? Because CJ was smart from the get-go. That work shift made him realize he didn't want to work for anybody. So he worked at the fast food, got his paycheck, and he quit right after. That paycheck was enough for him to buy an 8-ball, which is 1/8 of an ounce of an illegal substance, around 3.5 grams. And he never looked back since. After that, he just started hustling on the streets. But things would take a turn at an unexpected moment. Because when you understand that the game is rigged, you start to look for ways to play it differently.
Yes, have a real mush. I didn't hit this gas, it get me moving slow motion. That nigga been in the rap around his head like Hulk Hogan. Before we took that 30 pot that.
CJ was born with a toy car and video game in his hand. He's always been into cars since he can't remember. His pops always had clean cars, so he was influenced by the car culture from very young. That's the thing. Most people think he started getting into them after he started YouTube, but nah, he's always been a speed junkie. Even when he was in the streets, he always had cars, getting his first car on rims at 16 years old. On a calm night, Corey was scrolling on Instagram and sees this guy that keeps liking his pictures. He goes to his page and his name is CJ. He was like, who is this lame dude with the same name as me? What he didn't know is that this other CJ will soon propel him to stardom. CJ So Cool, a YouTuber with almost 10 million subscribers, was the guy who reached out to him. They started inboxing each other and building a relationship. They eventually linked up. So Cool came to Chicago, and the road to fame started from there. Cordero was interested in Corey in the first place because he saw all the nice cars he had, and when they linked up, he wanted immediately to buy Corey's tank, a Camaro on 32s. At first, CJ was reluctant to start YouTube because he actually didn't need any money, but his now good friend highly recommended him to start a channel because he saw his talent and potential. After long reflection, he decided to start, and still to this day, he gives him credit because if it wasn't for him, he would have never started YouTube in the first place. Cordero helped him until he had 20,000 subs. To celebrate, Corey flew to Las Vegas to the So Cool land, and they became like family. CJ So Cool's lifestyle served as inspiration for him, and that's all it took. On July 6 of 2017, CJ started his channel, and the monopoly had just started. Corey never stopped since then, uploading 45 to 60-minute vlogs every single day. In 5 years, he never took one day off. Counting over 1 million subscribers today, his success is still unprecedented. CJ on 32's CarCollection is one of the most impressive ones the YouTube industry has ever seen, period. His whole collection is worth in the millions of dollars. One of his favorite cars was a yellow Lamborghini Aventador LP704 Pirelli edition that he bought for over $400,000, the exact day his mom passed away. Now, owning a Lamborghini Aventador SVJ, a Lamborghini Huracan Technica, a Lamborghini Urus, and a Lamborghini Revuelto, he decided to get rid of it. To give you an idea of the madness, throughout the years, CJ owned an Audi RS7, a Corvette C8 Stingray, BMW 760i, Smart Car, Chevy Camaro ZL1, Cadillac CT5V Blackwing, Cadillac Escalade, Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat, Trackhawk, Mercedes AMG GT63S, Rolls-Royce Ghost, Tesla Cybertruck, lots of Camaros, Challenger RT and every Hellcat model, Lamborghini Huracan Spider, 1971 Impala Donk, Ram TRX, BMW i8 Roadster, Tesla Plaid, McLaren 720S, Mercedes-Benz S580, Demon Jeep, Chrysler Hellcat 300, and a 1987 Chevy Landau. More than 30 cars at this point. But the question always was and still remains, how does Corey afford and manage all of these precious toys? Now, most of the cars CJ owns are paid for. People never really understand what he does, but he makes a lot of money off YouTube. He's got a 6-figure deal with Facebook, a 800 credit score, and a lot of behind-the-scenes activity going on. But remember, there's people that don't like to see you win and being in front of them in Monopoly. So keeping some ventures private is obvious. In terms of insurance, he doesn't care and doesn't know how much he pays because everything's on autopilot. The only thing he looks at is the deposits a day and the deposits a month, and that's it. He makes money in his sleep. Money flows 24/7, and that's all that matters. But things get hectic when people take their credit card by their own will, enter one of CJ's raffle to win a car, and don't win anything, and then get mad and call CJ a fraud. My question is, who forces anyone to do anything? Nobody. So why does everyone call it a scam? CJ on 32's raffles are completely computerized. Everything's done live, and can't nobody cheat. CJ has hundreds of videos of him blessing people all around America with different types of cars. But proof isn't enough nowadays, I guess. And while the world hates, Corey claimed that he's been able to make 7 figures 7 times in 2023.
You If you listen, young a boss. Yeah, I east side them. Violate Grammys, them have to run with. Yeah, pop, pass face like Pax, must be madman. This are none of Pax,
In the Roman Empire, emperors showed their power in many ways, but one way was by having multiple wives and plenty of kids. CJ seemed to live by those traditional values, since he has 3 girls and about 11 kids from 5 different baby mamas. Corey mentioned that he doesn't do relationships. He just has options and doesn't need a woman for nothing, besides kids, I guess. Plus, all of his girls genuinely get along, so there's no animosity in the ecosystem. CJ does this because, well, he can. His income allows him to feed 11 mouths and take care of plenty of women. And while most people with double the money he has, billionaires, don't have any kids and don't help anyone, Corey right here feeds a whole tribe plus his whole team, whether it's his partner AL or his close friends he works with. He wants his friends to surpass him. Everyone eats around him. From his mom telling him that he won't live past 18 to now being the second top spender in Louis Vuitton Dallas and having the absolute dream life, CJ on 32s has become a real-life blueprint to success for this young generation. He doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, and never got high in his entire life. My man's as clean as a whistle when it comes to that. Through his crazy life, I think that's what kept him grounded and true to himself too, and I can only respect that. But as anyone who's played Monopoly knows, sometimes you have to go to jail. It's just part of the game. Even though Corey's life start in life seemed like a rigged escape plan, he showed the world that you can start from the bottom of the bottom, turn your life around 360, and end up in a place you never thought you could land in one day. A place where everyone around you feels the same length and breadth of freedom as you. Waking up, vlogging, and shooting a 45 to 50-minute video every single day is not easy, but Corey still grinds today like he doesn't have it. CJ on 32s is living proof that if you learn to learn what's good for you and go full into that, the world is yours. CJ went through hell and came out of it stronger than ever. He learned from his mistakes, read and studied every single rule of the Monopoly, planted his seeds strategically, and won the game. Because we can now confidently say the answer to our question, how did he win the game, is crystal clear right now. The answer is D. It was written.
Like, YouTube is a job. Like, it's not easy, guys. Always be yourself when you're doing something. You know, you gotta put in the work. You know, you gotta crawl before you walk. Like, some people just want to go from 0 to $1 million right off the back. It don't work like that, because they want a quick way out and they want somebody to help them. No, you gotta promote you. You know what I'm saying? You gotta believe in you. You know, you just gotta work with what you got, man. Social media is huge.